settle in, and I'm going to double check that it's on, and then
Oh, Dad.
yes.
Instead of instead of doing a general life update, why don't we talk about what we did during the visit?
Oh, we'll talk. No, let's do this. Let's talk about the fact that we visited, and we can say, hey, we went to the zoo. We
Went to the school
went to the
gamer bar.
16-bit gamer bar, but we don't have to go into detail. Okay, I am going to
Didn't
tell the
tell
raccoons.
me.
I am going to tell the raccoon story.
You
But
got to tell that.
yeah, but as far as our trip, then we don't have to go into a lot of details other than, hey, we went and did these things. It was great seeing you guys there. Yada yada. Okay,
Okay.
so so I'm going to send out all of my Discord notifications and shut it down.
Yep. I'm gonna quickly set up my ring light and get my portable charger.
Okay.
Okay. Dad.
Yep.
Tell me what looks better. Option A,
Hold on.
option
hold on.
B. Okay. Option A, option B, option C.
Option B, wear it normal. Don't wear it sideways. That kind of hat does. You don't wear that kind of hat sideways.
All right. So like this.
Yeah, just normal.
Jeez, I got those pizza farts.
All right. So we're live. It's running.
Yep.
I'm going to go make my drink, and then I will be back.
Okay.
Oh, I have some fun news.
Okay.
Listen.
Give me the maids. There you are.
Listen.
I've got the perfect thing to play once the stream starts.
Oh, your camera's jacked up. I gotta fix it. Not your camera, I mean, but on the display. So I gotta hold on a sec. Fix mine first. Why is it so... Oh, here we go. Bottom. Oh, your face is awfully bright. You're glowing.
I'm playing this.
Oh,
This
okay.
was- I'm playing
That's what it is. Okay. All right. Well,
Let me know when you're ready to fully start.
yep. Just kind of hanging out. Interesting face. I need to do a screenshot of that.
Do it.
Not with. I cannot get comfortable in my
Do it.
chair, man.
Buy a new chair then.
No, it's not that. Because this table has such a low level to it, because it's that old shipping crate, pallet thing, that to
The
sit
prototype?
up high enough.
Prototype.
Yeah, well, to sit up high enough then my legs can barely squeeze underneath, and don't feel like I can get close enough to the table because you're right, my chair doesn't lock like yours. So anyway, it is what it is. We'll deal with it.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'll tell you in the stream.
Okay.
Oh, I love the quote back there. We had a doozy of a day. That's
Right.
Perfect. That is perfect. And I did have a doozy of a day.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and get started.
For real soon?
What's that?
Yeah. Are we getting started for real soon?
Yeah. So you can turn that
cool.
off.
Okay, I just gotta. Oh, dang it, not shiny. Oh well. Alright.
All right. Let me start the recording. All right. What button am I looking for? There we go. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5.
Yep.
1 3/4. 1.
Play it.
So we're going with the whole Indiana Jones look tonight.
Yeah.
Love that hat, by the way.
I know, right? It's at the Columbus Zoo gift shop.
Yeah.
Theme of the exact hat Jack Hanna wears.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I mean, I tried it on when we were up there. Your head's way too big for me. I need a smaller size hat. But I like those hats. All right, I'm going to restart the camera. I mean, the timer.
They also had one of his classic, hard rim camo hats, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Jane's dad wears from Tarzan, you know?
Okay.
That style hat.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 55 of the Gene Pool Variety Hour. I'm Sean. I'm the old guy of the group. I'm the dad, the old fart. And the Indiana Jones guy on the other side of the screen is...
My name is Connor McKay, everyone, and I am the comedy of this duo. I mean, let's just face it. I am the comedy. My dad's the technical advisor. I bring the viewers. I mean, come on.
I'm the producer and he's the talent.
You come for Team Connor, don't you?
Everybody.
You admit it.
Everybody comes for Team Connor. You know that. So anyway.
But Dad,
Yeah.
Dad, there's one thing I need to play before we get started.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, I don't know if you could pick up on that, but he's playing Reunited because we're doing this again. We missed last week, but we missed last week.
2 weeks.
No, just 1 week. We missed last week. We were doing it the Friday before, but we missed last week because I was in Ohio visiting Connor in real life, IRL. So, so that's what we're doing last week.
It was fun.
It was fun, and we'll talk about that. But for folks who may be listening to this for the first time, or if anybody happens to pop in, we're just a father and son nerd duo, and we like to talk about random movies, and literally random movies that we pick at random. Geek questions, just little debate questions, and then just kind of chase a lot of chickens about a lot of different kind of things. And tonight we're going to be chasing some raccoons as well, but that's another story altogether. You know the raccoons, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about raccoons later. But anyway, so that's us. So what do you want to talk about? Where do you want to start?
Let's see. Oh, I finally got my tax return.
Yay! It helps when you get the form completed correctly.
Oh, shut up. So you
look. I'm not blaming you because there's a first
forms.
It's the first time you've done them all on your own, so I'm not blaming you for that at all. And it was smart that you did it through like a service like Tax Act or something like that.
Yeah.
I would tell you that now that you've used Tax Act, use Tax Act every year because your stuff will follow you. All your data from last year will automatically transfer in. It'll make it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Good for
So
you.
so I made a couple of fun purchases with it. I pre-ordered some games, bought myself Spider-Man Miles Morales, some got me and Nikki some better swim stuff so we can enjoy our pool a bit better. And then that's all of the fun stuff I'm gonna get. The rest of it I'm spending towards upgrading our day bed and our recliner. Right now on our day bed, which is acting like our couch, is basically just a horrible old spring mattress with a bunch of throw cushions on there. Doesn't work well, and the recliner is almost as old as Nikki.
Okay. Well, anyway,
So
it, it,
I need an upgrade.
it's time to
So
upgrade. It's time to upgrade. I get
so
that.
so yeah. Just bought a bolster for the couch for the day bed. But mom told me about that. Remember?
Yep. Yep.
Um, I bought that. And then tomorrow I'm gonna be going recliner shopping.
Cool. Are you
But
going? Are you
but
going to go fancy leather, vibrating with speakers built in, or are you just going to go just basic recliner, comfortable?
I'm just gonna go classic Joey Tribbiani. My chair heals itself kind of chair, you know.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Just if I were
as
you, I'd go for comfort,
as
not bells
long
and
as long
whistles.
as long as it can kick back and stay kicked back, I'll love it.
Yeah.
Just because this one that I currently have, it won't stay kicked back unless you're in the right position in the seat, and the back is folded all the way back, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just
So
I'm just playing with Chase. So anyway, okay.
so
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 you got your tax
I'm
return,
gonna
did some
get
shopping.
that.
Cool.
And then that's all I'm gonna buy seriously with my tax return. I'm gonna save the rest for hopefully a Christmas visit with you guys.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. We if I have enough, I may even try to stay at the Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh, that's gonna be spendy. No,
I know.
no. Stay at my house. It's free. You have a
But
room here.
what
Stay at my
about
house.
Nikki's allergies with dog hair and dander?
Then y'all could
She's gonna be
stay.
miserable.
Then y'all could stay in the cottage at mom and dad's
Why can't we just stay in a hotel?
because
Okay,
it's a
no,
hundred
this
something.
is something else for another
It's
time.
$100 something a night versus $0 a night.
That is true. And it would give Nikki a chance to meet my grandparents.
There
So
you
that
go.
they have a bed in that cottage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a day bed. I have to check and see if it makes out if it has a bottom that comes out and makes a bigger bed. I don't know. I have to
Okay.
check.
Him and if not
But
I
we
give
have
that to Nikki and I can borrow one of your air mattresses.
we have a queen size air mattress and you guys could just sleep on that.
Oh, that's true.
So anyway, okay,
So
cool.
anyway,
So this last week, we were up in Ohio visiting you and Nikki, and that was kind of
yeah,
cool.
it was awesome.
So you were our tour
She
guide.
adores Mitchell. Nikki adores Mitchell.
Well, Mitch is a lovable guy when you get to know him. I mean,
Yeah.
he's it takes a while to get to know him because him being on the autism spectrum, he doesn't talk much, and all of his humor and everything is basically up in his head, and he doesn't use it a lot, unless we're playing a game,
Yeah.
like what do you meme or something like that. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that was cool. But you are our cruise director. So what all did we do while we were there?
Well, let's see.
Just hit the highlights.
Highlights. Biggest highlight is we went to the Columbus Zoo. Thanks to my zoo membership.
Right.
I was able to get the entire family in.
Yeah.
And Nikki, mom, dad, Mitchell, everyone in for free.
Yeah. Well, not
So
for
that was
free.
fun.
You were able to get the three of us in for free. Y'all paid your membership. So
yeah,
it was paid.
true. But still.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we had fun there. There we got to see some fun animals. Nikki went bonkers at the koalas because they had brought one of them out to the outer version of their exhibit,
Yeah.
and she said in all the time she has been there, she's never seen a koala out of the enclosure in that tree area and up and moving.
Mm-hmm.
She's been going there for like 15 years and she's never seen it until that day.
That's crazy, man. But well,
Yeah,
the koalas don't show a lot, and so that was really
yeah,
cool that she got to see them. Um,
yeah.
and we didn't stay as long as y'all did. We
Hmm.
kind of left early because Mitch was getting kind of, Mitch doesn't like to be outside a lot.
And the cicadas were really messing with them.
It's yeah, everybody's been talking about the cicadas this summer. Apparently they didn't come into Georgia. They came into maybe North Georgia, but they're all the way up in Ohio, and it was stinking bad. They were bad. It didn't bother me
They were
any.
landing on me like butterflies.
Yeah, they were all over the place, and they were really bad at the zoo because there was open space for them to fly around from tree to tree, and so
But
Mitch.
what was cool was was at the Gibbon exhibit, and there was cicadas there too. And you could see the gibbon swinging from like branching little monkey bar stuff, catching cicadas and actually eating them.
Yeah, it
That was really cool.
that and because it was really hot that day, but because the cicadas were out, then it made the gibbons and the howling monkeys be very active swinging in the trees. So that was cool to watch. But it
Oh
was
yeah.
super hot. Mitch was just getting angry with the cicadas. Your mom was screaming like a little girl every time one got close to her.
Same thing with Nikki.
It was rough.
But I mean,
So
I was fine.
I mean
They
they
were
were.
really landing on me like butterflies. I was catching them on my finger like
Nah,
butterflies.
nah, I
and
wasn't
I'm
doing
like,
that. I didn't like them. They just annoyed me. I wouldn't freak out if one landed on me. I'd knock it off. They were just annoying. But yeah, so we went to the zoo, and then that night, was it that night? It was that night, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that night we went to this place called 16 Bit.
We also went to this awesome bar in Dublin called 16 Bit. And basically their thing is they have tons of classic arcade games you can play for free.
Ones that I played as a
Literally.
kid in the bowling alley back in the Valley, Alabama.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Little you just walk up, hit a button, and just play for hours and hours and hours.
And
It
that was
awesome.
and that's the cool thing about it, because it was this huge bar, and it was really two bars built into one, because you had pins on the other side, and they were really the same bar.
The pinball machine,
Yeah.
machines and everything. Yeah,
They were really the same bar, because I started my tab on in the 16-bit area, but I closed my tab in the pins area, so it was shared, and they shared tips and everything. So it was basically the same bar, but the pins side had like mini bowling, pins, and had pinball
tons
and
of
ping
pinball
pong
machines,
and that kind of
there's a
stuff.
giant Jenga.
Yeah,
We
which
loved
is we
that.
played as a family.
Um,
But
um, and Nikki's dad and brother came along for the ride too.
yeah,
Fun.
that was cool. Now, and the cool thing about this bar, because I've been to an arcade bar before, I've been to a pinball machine bar, both of them in Tacoma, Washington. I can't remember what the pinball. I think it's called Flippers or Three Flippers or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a pinball bar, and then the arcade bar was called Dorky's. Both of them are cool, but you have to pay to play. It's a bar,
Yeah.
so you buy your drinks and you pay to play the games. Now, on the pin side, you had to pay to play pinball.
Yeah.
But on the arcade side, they were all free to play. You could play as much as you wanted to.
Oh yeah. Even
so-
free skee ball.
That's what was cool, was
Oh,
that
yeah.
they were set up to be free. And they also had, just like they have at Chromatic Dragon down in Savannah, they had those big screen TVs with couches where you could play old consoles as well. Mitch played some Mario Brothers and that kind of stuff.
Nintendo 64, Atari, stuff like that.
Well, I don't think they had any Atari, but they had like Genesis and those kind of things. But yeah, so that was really cool, because I've been to arcade bars before, but I've never been to one where the games are just free to play. Because
Weren't they free at the Chromatic Dragon with everything?
with your food and stuff, yeah. I mean, if you were eating there,
Okay.
then yeah, it was free to play. But they didn't have arcade games. They just had the couches with the console games.
In the consoles, yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Even your mom went. Now she didn't play any games, but she enjoyed playing Jenga with us. That was good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was fun.
But she was basically willing to go wherever you wanted to go just so she could hang out with her son that she hadn't
Yeah.
seen in a year. So anyway, but
and what?
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Is there something else that you want?
I was then gonna talk about on the next day we had a big fun pool day.
Yeah,
all together.
We just hung out at your
grilled out and everything.
Yeah, we just hung out at the pool at your apartment complex and grilled burgers and hot dogs and just kind of hung out and then played some games that night.
Yep.
In your apartment. So that was really cool. That was our last day there.
Meme and super fights. Those were fun.
Yeah. So that was really cool. It was really hard for your mom to leave.
Yeah.
But because you're 25, but you're still her baby, and it was hard for her to leave. But anyway, the raccoons.
Oh yeah, the raccoon.
Okay, guys. So here's what we did because I'm getting to where I'm enjoying camping and hiking. I wasn't a big camper earlier in my life and this kind of stuff, but I'm getting to where I really enjoy it. Your mom really likes it, and so what we did to have an opportunity to camp and to save money, because it allowed us to basically spend 5 nights up there for the price of 1 night in a hotel. We pulled the big tent out of the attic and we drove up there and we camped at Delaware State Park, which is a really nice park. And amazingly, there were no cicadas in the park at all, anywhere.
Yeah, it was
it was weird.
I was there with the guy setting up your tent. There was nothing there. But here at the complex, every morning I gotta brush them off my freaking car.
Yeah.
Or just get into my door.
So we go to Delaware State Park, and we've got this huge 20 by 13 tent, because used to when we'd go camping, it was mom and dad and 3 little boys. So we needed a lot of room. Set it all up. Connor helped us set it up, and it's got the front door and the back door and the 2 side windows that zip up, but you can unzip the flaps, and there's still a bug screen up, so air can get through, but bugs don't get in. So we set that thing up, got the camp ready to go, and we had a bin that had pots and pans and cooking utensils and stuff, and we had some snacks that were in there.
Yeah.
And had that inside the tent. And we go out.
The biggest thing was a bag of payday bars.
Yeah. So just like mini payday bars. And we go somewhere that evening. I think we went to the store to buy some stuff, or we did something with you that first night, didn't we?
We went to Cane's.
That's right.
Some Raising Cane's.
Yep.
Cane's, and then came back here
to the
and
apartment,
visited and such.
Yeah. So
and then the following day we roasted marshmallows.
Yeah. So we went and got some after we set up the camp. We went and got some canes, some good chicken fingers, kind of like Zaxby's down south. A lot like Zaxby's down south.
Zaxby's is better.
And then hung out at Connor and Nikki's apartment for a while and just kind of visited. And then we headed back before dark, because your mom doesn't see well in the dark, so she likes to get settled in before it gets dark out there.
Yeah.
So we get there, and Mitch walks into the tent, and he's looking at the back of the tent because we had the screen, the flaps down and just the bug screens up, know. And he said, in typical Mitch fashion, there's a 4-legged creature behind the tent. And so Kelly looks out there and she goes, there's a raccoon behind our tent. And we had a little area where there's a fire pit behind our tent. So I walk out and I go over and I shoo him off, and he runs off into the woods. And then I turn to the tent. And I tell your mom, I'm like, was there a hole in our bug screen on our back door? She said, no. I said, there is now. And so apparently the raccoon smelled the bag of paydays in the tent and tore a hole in our bug screen. And so we were all upset about that. And then Kelly, your mom went up to shower or something, came back, and then as I'm looking in the back and I'm zipping the inside flap up to protect the bug screen, I noticed that there's a mini payday wrapper on the ground, ripped open and empty. I'm like, that sneaky SOB ripped open the bug screen, reached in with that little stinking paw of his, grabbed a mini payday out of the bin, and ran off with it and ate it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So we zip up the flap, and we hear them out there at night, and I'm kind of shooting because they're coming up close to the tent because they'd gotten in, so they're trying to get in the tent that night. So we're having to hit the edge of the tent to scare them off all night. The next day, we're doing something, and your mom is looking in that bin, and she says, "Didn't you pack that whole bag of paydays in that bin?" I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "It ain't there now." So not only did the raccoon grab one payday, he grabbed the whole freaking bag and pulled it through that hole in the screen. And as we're eating breakfast, I'm looking out in the bushes about 20 yards into the woods behind our tent. There's the whole bag of wrappers out in the woods where they've ripped it open and eaten the whole bag of paydays.
Oh my God.
So that was the first night. The raccoons were a nightly event while we were staying there. The next night, you know, we're sleeping. Mitch is on one end of the tent where there's like an end window flap, but he liked his zipped up. We liked ours zipped down to have a little bit of air, and we're at the other end, and our heads are right at that flap. About 2 o'clock in the morning, we both wake with a start because right at our head we can hear. This raccoon is 4 inches from our heads outside the bug screen, sniffing at our heads, trying to figure out a way to get in and see if he can find some food in our tent. So that was the second night, and we still had to shoo him away. The next morning, your mom saw 2 small ones when she went to get her shower or go to the bathroom early in the morning. She said, "Oh, they're just like little babies. They're really cute." The next night, so we had a trash bag, but Kelly, your mom had it tied up inside a tree, up elevated, okay? Well,
she does know raccoons can climb, right?
but there was no food in it. It was just paper garbage. There was no food residue in there, or so she thought. But the third night, we hear all this scruffing around, and we look out our window, and there's this big ass raccoon. I mean, like that big raccoon, okay? Over there, climbing the tree to the bag, okay? So I get out and kind of like, don't make it mad, it'll charge you. So I get out, and there's gravel. We don't have any big rocks near us, but there's gravel and some decent sized gravel around where our tent was. So I was picking it up and throwing rocks at this raccoon up in the tent. I mean, up in the tree. I mean, I know I hit it in the head at least twice. And you can see their little glowing beady eyes, right?
Oh God!
Right? And so I'd hit it, and it'd go like this, and just keep staring like, "Come at me, bro. Let's go." You know? And then when I tried to scare him off, he grabbed the bag, jumped out of the tree, and ran off with the whole tree out into the woods, just trailing garbage all through the woods. So the next morning I had to walk through the woods picking up garbage. So we started keeping all of our food in the car, you know, and that helped, you know, because they couldn't get in the car and they couldn't really smell it then. And we had our bin with all of our pots and pans, but it's one of those bins that locks, and so they couldn't open it up and get in. But there was no food in there, so they weren't really that interested. And then we started talking to the other people camping, finding if it was just if they were just targeting us or if it was a big issue. The raccoons are a big issue. Everybody was having trouble with the raccoons. There was 3 campsites across from us, and it was like families that were kind of there together. And they'd had a big ice chest full of meat for the week, hamburgers, hot dogs, and chicken, and this kind of stuff. The raccoons opened their ice chest and ate all their meat for the entire week. They had to go to the store and buy all new meat for the whole week because of that. So it was a big problem for everybody.
That's pretty hilarious.
And then the last night, that locked bin was outside our tent. But those marshmallows that we didn't use when we roasted marshmallows at your place were in that bin, so they could smell them.
Did they unlock it?
No, they didn't unlock it, but they were going nuts trying to. I mean, they were up on top of it, trying to grab it and flipping off of it to try to unlock it, just get out. I finally had to shoo them off.
How smart are these things?
Oh my gosh, they're like, I mean, they're crazy, man.
They're like rocket level intellect.
So I just expected Rocket to show up with his guns and blaze it and say, "Give me your food." I mean, it was crazy. So that was the most frustrating. The state park was great. It was beautiful, kind of buggy, you know, just because it was hot and we were really wooded where our campsite was.
Cicadas.
But no cicadas. It was just the raccoons, man. That was it. That was it.
The goddamn raccoons.
So next time you go camping, we talked to some people that checked in the night before we were left. We were kind of packing up and went to talk to them. Oh, so here's what I've. Oh, what's up? Hey, Jacob.
Hey, dude.
So we were talking to some people that came in with their big fifth wheel the night before our last night there. So we were talking to them, just kind of warning them, like, oh, it's like the big campers that hook onto the back of your truck.
Oh, okay.
They come, yeah. And they were clearly, they'd been doing this for a long time. They'd been camping for 20 years. They'd gone from a tent to a pop-up to a small trailer to this big thing now. They'd just been doing this for 20 years. They had an outside tent. They had a like awning area. They had an awning outside their thing, and they were just sitting out there. And we were talking to them, like, oh yeah, raccoons are bad here. So she said, what we do is I bring a super soaker, and we fill it with vinegar. And the first night, we just sit there taking pot shots at the raccoons with vinegar and shoot vinegar in their face. We do that enough, they stop coming around. So next time we go camping, I'm getting a freaking, Ace 3000 super soaker thing, and I'm going to just take vinegar and just take a gallon of vinegar and just shoot the crap out of them and just take some target practice. Either that or I'm going to get me an airsoft gun and just kind of hit them with some little rubber pellets.
Oh, come on.
It's like cops and rubber bullets. I'm just going to... It's not going to hurt them. It's just going to just annoy the crap out of them and make them leave. So, next time anyone goes camping, take a super soaker with vinegar for the raccoons. They were cute, but they annoyed the crap out of me for 5 nights. So, anyway. So, that was my funny raccoon story. Story. Well, it was one long 5-night saga story. So anyway, but I've got some other
raccoons.
Yeah. So a couple other cool things that's happened this week.
Come to theaters near you.
So this week has been kind of a cool week. I mean, I had to go back to work, but a couple of really neat things happened. So hold on.
Charlie horse. You didn't. You son of a
I did.
buck.
So here's the thing. So I told you I was going to be shopping for an Xbox Series X this summer around my birthday. And I found out that GameStop was actually going to be getting some in stores this week, I think Thursday. They're actually getting them in store, so none of the like computer snipers, buying them in a minute on the web. So I said, okay, well, I'll go over there. They open at 11. I'll go over there about 10. I got there at 10, and I was already 10th in line. I'm like, I'm not going to get one. I'll stay here to see, but I know I'm not going to get one, and it's fine. I'll just keep looking through the summer. The guy comes out, and he's giving out, little slips of paper, hey, which one do you want? You want a Series X or a Series S? And we're all like, Series X. They got 18 Series X in that day. 18. I don't know anybody that's gotten that, and that was just a GameStop in Columbus, one of 3 GameStops in Columbus. So I just lucked out and got one. So that was my first cool thing. The second cool thing is, we got Dragon Con coming up, right? And all our podcast buddies, they're starting to say, hey, we're going. TV Travis is going, Steven's going. I'm not sure if Jacob and Smash are going. I don't know. I think things are still up in the air there. But, so Bean and some other people in the Discord, they're all going. And you and I usually stay at your aunt's house up in Tucker and take the MARTA. I was not really interested in the idea of taking the MARTA at midnight by myself every night. It's just kind of sketchy, and especially with things the way they are. Things are just kind of sketchy in big cities these days. So, Well, Smashy's going. Cool. So, TV's Travis and Steven were able to find an Airbnb a block from the Westin.
A block from the
Westin, and I'm going to split the cost with them, and I'm going to stay there. It's just it's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We'll check out Sunday, and there's still Monday, so I might go up to to your aunt's on Sunday night and stay there for the last day. But so it's going to cost me money, which usually doesn't cost when we stay at your Aunt Paige's, but we spend almost as much as it's going to cost me eating out 3 meals a day for 5 days,
Yeah.
paying for myself and you. So I'm pretty much going to come out about even. So that's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. I'm super happy about that. That's making me even more excited about Dragon Con.
And then is there one more thing?
No, that was it. Those are the two biggie things. Those are the two big
Are you
things.
sure?
Two big. I think so. Do I have something else?
Someone who maybe left
Oh,
for a
well, I
while.
mean, yeah, I mean that's not like that's not a good thing. I mean, that's just a thing that I mean, your mom left this morning for Oklahoma just to visit her mom for about 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be kind of batching it with Mitch here in the house for the summer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not classifying that as a good thing. My wife left for 6 weeks. She didn't leave me, people. She just went to visit my mother-in-law for 6 weeks because she likes to do that in the summer. So everything's good. Everything's great. She just went to visit her mom.
Gucci.
Everything's Gucci. So anyway,
Gucci.
I'm just
Stanley Tucci.
having met Jacob and Smashy and Steven and those guys 2 years ago at the Horseshoes and Hand Grenades live show and getting in the Discord and just building that friendship over the last 2 years to finally get to go and hang out with all these guys. Sorry, Jacob, I wish you could be there. To do that and be able to do that so that I can stay late and not have to catch the train, at night and can stay as late as I want to.
Yeah.
That's just. I
don't
promise. She's got to at least come back in mid-August because she has a job that she works during the school year. So she's got to at least come back for the job. Whether she comes back for me or not, she's coming back for the job. But anyway, so that's just that's adding a level of enjoyment to the con that I've never had. You and I have always gone, and that's been fantastic. I've loved hanging out with you.
Oh yeah.
But it was going to be. I mean, I'll be honest. It was going to be a weird con for me this year. You not being there and us not doing panels together and riding the train together and eating together, and me having to go back to your Aunt Paige's house by myself. That was going to be kind of a bittersweet kind of con for me. So this changes that, and so I'm super jazzed.
But
so,
hopefully next year,
yeah,
I'll have plenty of money saved up. By that point, when I'll have actual vacation days I can use to go up. We'll go down there.
Yeah, it'll also be
so hopefully by next year I can start doing it again.
Of course, it'll be a month before your wedding, so maybe not, unless Nikki considers that your bachelor party to come down for Dragon Con.
I mean, I feel like she would. In fact, babe. Oh, she's busy.
Hey Jacob, I'm going to bring ice chest full of Wild Leap microbrew from our local microbrew down here, which was voted best new microbrew 2 years ago in the country. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't like IPAs, so y'all can have all the IPAs you want.
Didn't you get some microbrew stuff while you were up here?
I did. I went to this place that had tons of microbrews and you can make your own 6-pack. So, of course, I spent almost an hour there trying to go through their 100 different microbrews to find non-IPA microbrews because that seems to be what all they want to make. So,
I mean, didn't you buy one that a horse's head on it?
I think so. I don't remember what it's called. So anyway, yeah, I did. I bought those. I still got
Perfect
2 left.
Bachelor's Party equals Dragon Con.
There you
totally
go.
Agree.
Hey, you know what? If you want to do that, we'll do that. And you know what? If you stay for Dragon Con After Dark and go to some of the raves, it's pretty much like going to, one of the other bachelor party type places anyway. You just can't tip people. There's no making it rain. You just dance. You just kind of hang out and have a good time. So anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on. We've been going for.
I get that, dude. I get that.
I know. And I noticed that in Horseshoes and Hand Grenades stream as well. I don't know why there's such a long delay. I wish they would fix that. But anyway, So I agree with you. I don't like that 45-second delay because it really screws things up. So we've talked for over our half of our time, and we haven't started on anything yet. It's
I
like
mean, it's been fun though.
it had no. I know. The timer is just to kind of keep us on track. I might extend it to 75 or 90 minutes next time. I don't know.
I say 75.
So anyway, all right. So I got nothing else on life stuff. Oh, by the way, playing Destiny on the Xbox Series X on a 4K TV is a game changer, man. The crispiness and the smoothness or whatever words you want to use it's almost
The resolution.
it's almost jarring. It's so clear and crisp. It's I was telling somebody today the graphics are so clean now I can actually see the bullets that whiz past my enemies as I miss them. So
I don't see how there could be that much of a difference.
yeah. It's trust me, when you come down, you'll see. You'll see. So anyway, all right. So let's talk about a movie. You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right. I was wondering if your screen froze. You just kind of stopped there for a minute. Were you? Because last time you were like burping a lot. Is it coming out the other end now? Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. So time for the next installment of Roll for Credits.
Oh no! All right. What about the geek question?
Oh yeah. You want to do the geek question first? Sorry.
Yes, we always do the geek question.
Okay, we'll do the geek question first. Fine. I'm ADHD. I'm the smashy on our stream. Okay.
Yes, he is.
I am the smashy on our stream. Okay. So the geek question. All right. So how about that?
You asked it.
All right. Geek question. Geek question. It
I want
is.
to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, and I want them answered immediately. Had to do it.
So anyway, the question is, what would you do if you found out that our world was actually a simulation?
Okay.
There's some people out there talking. You get the flat Earth people, and you got the world is a simulation people. What if you found out that the world actually was just a simulation, and we were living a simulation? What would you do?
Let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Are we talking computer simulation, kind of like Matrix, or like somehow you're in your own little world, kind of like Truman Show?
No, I would say when I say simulation, I mean more like Matrix, because I see that as more of the definition of a simulation, whereas Truman Show is more like a reality show. He just didn't know it, right?
True.
It was real people living together, so that's not really a simulation. It's a simulated life. I see what you're saying.
Not really real people. He was the only real person in there.
No, they were all real people. They weren't like computer-generated people.
Actors, I mean.
They were actors, right, but they're real people. So when I say simulation, I'm thinking more Matrix. Okay? So if you found out that we were living in the Matrix, so to speak, what would you do?
How did I find out? Did someone tell me? Did I see some kind of back did I see some kind of weird actual glitch in the programming?
Dude, this is a create your own adventure story, and I forgot my air conditioner's been running in my garage the whole time, so I'm gonna go turn that off.
And my dishwasher has been going on.
Whatever. So I'm gonna turn mine off. So you start talking, and I'll be right back.
But that's the thing. I don't know what answer to give, guys. I've got a hero answer. I've got a classic answer.
So nice having a. You know what? I would be the same way. I'd be the same way, and so I'm going to get to that in a minute. But it's so nice having a window unit with a remote control. I can just stick my hand around my blanket
Did
fort.
you replace it? Did
the remote?
Did
No,
you
I just
replace
found
one
it.
that was already in there.
No, it's been in there. I just found the remote for it.
Oh, okay.
So, and cleaned out the corroded battery that it was in it. That had been there for the 2 years before we found it. So, what would you do?
I mean, Do you want the hero answer or the real answer?
Whatever, both. Because mine
Oh,
would kind of go from transition from one to the other. I think.
I mean, real answer. I'd probably just keep on living my life, just because. Even if I'm in a simulation, I've got a pretty good life. So why would I mess that up?
Yeah.
And I mean, who's to
There you go.
say?
Yeah. What Jacob said. Forget the hero answer, the classic answer. Just what's your answer?
Okay, if I'm being honest, I would. I would explore it a bit, but otherwise, I just live my life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It because be be because my life, it's hard in some areas, but I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
That's
engaged to my best friend.
that's
I've
fantastic.
moved across the country, and I'm living my real adult life.
Yep. Yep.
So why would I try and jeopardize that by diving deeper into the rabbit hole?
I have a funny answer to that. But anyway, okay,
I
cool.
mean, it's just
So
I'm
that's it. That's your answer.
yeah, I'd
Okay.
leave it alone.
Okay. So
If I knew the reason why I was in the simulation, I would change my answer. But in my head, I would just be I just saw a glitch, like a bird flying into a pole and getting stuck there.
yeah.
Here, and it kind of glitch out a bit and then fly out. Kind of like in a video game. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's weird. But I wouldn't try to investigate it, because the people who investigate are the people who get hurt.
I know.
Look what happened to Neo. Look
Oh.
what happened to Morpheus.
Neo was the savior, man. He didn't get hurt.
Stuff still got messed up for
Well,
him.
sure, he was the one. So I just think it's kind of funny because you're saying I would just live the life I have now because I'm engaged to my best friend, all these kind of things,
Yeah.
and that's fantastic. I probably would have said the exact same thing early on when your mom and I were first engaged or first got married. But after 30 years, I don't mean 30 years of marriage to your mom. I don't mean that, but I mean of just 30 years of being adult and working every day and paying taxes every day and property taxes every day and doing the grind. After 30 years, you start thinking
I'm gonna get
about
some water and be right back. Okay.
and fantasizing about doing something else, right? So if I was, well, I need to ask Connor a question, what he thinks about this. But if I found out we were in a simulation, I would want to have some fun with it. In this simulation, it would be really important. When you die in the simulation, do you die? Does your body really die? Like in the Matrix, it was like that. But if it's like that, there was a movie recently. Hold on, let me ask Connor if he remembers this movie. Hey, do you remember there was a movie that was on Amazon, I think, recently? It was an original movie where this guy was kind of living a video game. He kept dying every day, but he would respawn the next day and kind of live it again. It was like a video game kind of thing. Boss level. That's what it was.
I've never heard of that.
If it was like that, and when I died, I just repeated the day like that, or Groundhog Day, I would have so much fun doing whatever I wanted to do. Because I'm like, I'm going to die when I'm do this, but I'm going to come back tomorrow. It's like Bill Murray. It's like, I'm going to eat an entire dozen donuts and shove them in my face and die of a heart attack, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to come back tomorrow.
Now here's where I have here's what I think people don't realize about this stuff. If you do die, you need if you want to go that route and just do something that'll make you die every time, just to be adventurous, you need to pick things that could give you a possible quick and painless death.
Oh,
Because
sure.
otherwise,
Jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
just,
quick and painless. Well,
it's
the anticipation is
if,
not quick.
if you do, because if you do something like like say you go running with the bulls in Pamplona, but instead you face down the bulls and try to intimidate them, but then they run over you and gore you, that ain't an easy way to go. You feel every bit of pain,
Yeah, no, I know, and I don't know, because like if you're looking at the Matrix type simulation, then in the Matrix, if you died in the Matrix, you die. Your real body died, and they flushed you out, right? So I don't know that's the kind of simulation we're talking about. But if that was there, I would do some of that stuff, right? I would still, even if when you died in the simulation, happened. I would still start taking a lot of chances and live my life to the fullest, to the point of taking the risk of my life, because I would want to try new things. I would want to go hiking. I'd quit my job. I would go do these kind of, just do all kinds of stuff, just to explore.
But it wouldn't be real.
But it's a simulation. It doesn't matter. It's not real anyway. So if it's a simulation, you can simulate anything, right? Because your body is a battery for the aliens that have taken over the Earth somewhere in some goo with a chunk in the back of your head.
I'm so confused as to how that actually happened in the movie. What was their reasoning behind that? Why did the machines actually rise up? What caused that to happen?
Because the machines got smarter than we were, and they realized, kind of like where we're getting with AI now, that the machines realized that the most harmful force on the Earth was humanity. But humanity's brains and bodies create electricity. They can be used as batteries. And so the machines took over to keep the humans from destroying the Earth. But by doing that, they kind of...
How did they take over from... I mean, were there actual robots?
I don't know, buddy. They didn't really go into that. They didn't really go into that in the Matrix. But anyway, so...
Can you imagine freaking Siri or Cortana being like
dude, that was this that
I will vanquish you, human.
Look, that was the movie we just did recently. What, the Mitchells versus the Machines? That's exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened.
Pal was a lot more advanced than Siri or Cortana.
Whatever.
But I see what you're going.
I read a report the other day that there's evidence out there that, I forgot what country it was, somewhere over the Middle East, somewhere over in there, an AI drone carried out its own missile attack. It decided on its own that this is what it needed to do.
Oh, wait, what?
A country's military had a drone. Okay, and humans fly drones, but a lot of them are run by AI now. Apparently, an AI drone decided that it needed to do a missile attack on something, and it made that decision on its own. So it's coming. It's coming.
I'm okay with giving AI capabilities to things like your phone, even your fridge and microwave.
But here's the thing.
You don't give AI capabilities to something that can level a freaking town.
But here's the thing.
They can fly away while doing it.
We're teaching machines to teach themselves. And as technology is growing at an exponential rate, so the power and the intelligence of machines is growing at an exponential rate. They are learning faster than we can teach them. It's going to happen at some point.
I don't want that to happen.
Well, of course not. So move to the woods in Canada somewhere. But it's going to happen.
Canada.
I don't know, Alaska, Siberia. I don't care. Pick a spot. Pick a spot. It's going to need to be somewhere in the mountains in the woods, because that's where everybody goes when this stuff happens. They don't go to the beach. They go to the mountains in the woods. So here's the thing. Like you were talking about the hero or the real life thing, and I kind of said I would kind of transition. I would start doing the goofy stuff, because it's a simulation. I'm going to get away with whatever I want to, because it's a simulation. Nothing really matters. But it's kind of like this summer. Your mom's gone for most of the summer, and when y'all were little, all y'all, you and your mom and your mom and your two brothers would go out to Oklahoma and spend the entire summer out there. So I would be at the house by myself for the entire summer. And when y'all first left for the first couple of weeks, it's like, woohoo, I can do what I want to. I can watch Lord of the Rings all stinking day by myself and eat pizza and whatever. I can play video games. I can do all that stuff. And it's like a little kid in a candy store. But after a couple of weeks, it got really old. And then it got really, I'm kind of bored and lonely. And then it was just, and then after a couple of weeks of that, it was like, I'm just going to keep the house clean and cut the grass and do what I got to do and do what needs to be done because that's what needs to be done. So I think at the beginning I would do all the fun stuff, but after a while that would be empty. That wouldn't be fulfilling me because that's not the way my brain is designed. That's not what gives my life purpose. And so I would end up living my normal life, doing the things that I'm doing, even though it's a simulation, because that's what gives my soul and my brain purpose. So I'd end up doing my normal stuff. That's why if I ever won the lottery, I'd buy a bunch of cool stuff to begin with and then go back to work, just to have something to do that gives my life purpose and meaning.
If you win the lottery, you'll buy things that can generate its own revenue.
True, but I wouldn't sit around and do nothing. I would find something. I would become a foreign missionary because I wouldn't need money. I wouldn't need a job. I'd go do long-term foreign missions, right. Change your purpose. So I may become a missionary in Thailand or wherever. Who knows? I probably would do something like that, or find some other kind of thing to help people because that's kind of where my brain goes.
But you're an introvert.
I am an introvert. So that would be hard. So it would be having to figure out how to serve people. I like serving people.
But you don't like being with people.
No, it's not so much that. It's like I like being with people when I'm serving them. It's hard for me socially, like if I'm in a group, I'm okay. One-on-one socially, it's kind of awkward. One-on-one in work is easy. That's my job. I do that, right? So I'm kind of selectively introverted. It's kind of weird, but anyway. So I guess to answer the question, I'd start out doing the cool, weird Bill Murray Groundhog Day, not care about anything stuff, and maybe try to fly and whatever.
That's the thing.
But eventually I would end up just doing my thing.
With Bill Murray, he didn't care because the day was just repeating over and over and over again, and he just counted up the steps to everything.
Nope. Well, if you remember at the beginning, he was woohoo! I can do whatever I want to do, and he would steal stuff, and he would eat whatever he wanted, and he would do all these kind of things because he's having a good time. And hold on,
doing that because because he knew the day was repeating.
Hold on,
in your scenario, you would just be in a simulation.
I get that. But
I'm having trouble following your logic. That's
what
all.
I'm saying is, following his pattern, I would start out doing fun stuff, would realize that that's not really fulfilling to me, would go through a period of depression that this means nothing, and then go back to the things that give me meaning. Right? That's just, I'll kind of follow his whole emotional process that he went through, even though the situation was a little bit different. That's the process that I'd go through. So, anyway.
Okay.
So, that's my answer to that question. That's your answer to that question. I think we kind of beat that dead horse pretty severely.
Yeah.
So, I hope PETA doesn't come after us because we beat him pretty bad. So, you got nothing else on that? You got anything else on that question? If not, then let's go to now let's go to our movie. Ready to go to the movie?
Yep.
All right. Roll for credits. Oh, man.
What happened?
I was going to look this on IMDb. So we watched the, I don't remember what year, movie, Tucker and Dale. It wasn't 2017. It's been out for a long time, like 2010, man. We're talking about 2017. So
that's what it said.
So we saw Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Neither one of us has seen it before. It's another one of those movies that's been on my list that I should have seen and never got around to watching. So glad that I did. It was absolutely hilarious movie. I want to find out what year it is, but I think it was 2010. 2010, yes. And it stars Tyler Labine, who played Dale, and one of my favorite people, Alan Tudyk, who played Tucker. Now, the premise of the movie is they're two like hillbilly rednecks, drinking beer, living in the mountains, this kind of stuff. And Tucker has bought a cabin in the woods to be his vacation home. And they're going up to the cabin for the weekend to kind of work on it and fix it up. At the same time, a bunch of college kids are going up to the mountains to party and do the whole Friday the 13th slay away camp type party, and that where you know something bad's going to happen.
That's better. Whew.
Right. And so then it's like a serial killer movie, but kind of in reverse. And that was the funny thing, because Tucker and Dale were nice guys. Yeah, they were hillbillies, but they were nice guys. But through a series of misinterpretations of each other's behavior, the college kids thought that Tucker and Dale, yes, absolutely. When I every time I say Tucker and Dale versus evil, in my head I say Tater and Dwayne versus evil. Every single time I do.
Who and who?
Jacob and Steven, that's their nicknames, Tater and Dwayne.
Okay.
So anyway, so yes, every time I say Tucker and Dale, in my head I say Tater and Dwayne. I don't know why. I mean, just I do. But anyway, so it's like, so the college folks thought that Tucker and Dale were these hillbilly mountain serial killer
Psycho
people. And Tucker and Dale thought that they were crazy college kids on a suicide pact that had gone crazy and were trying to kill them and kill themselves. Because what happened was they ran into each other at a convenience store. Tucker and Dale creeped them out because they're college students.
Oh, it's a good movie. I freaking
Oh,
love it.
absolutely! You need to watch that movie. It's pretty funny. So
it's on Amazon Prime for
Yeah.
2 more weeks, and then it's getting taken off.
yeah. So anyway, so they run into each other at this convenience store because the college students forgot their beer. So they go to watch this movie, and hey Smashy, and Dale really likes one of the girls. He like, ooh, I like her.
Allison.
Well, Allie, right. He really likes her. But he's not very confident. Tucker's the more confident one, and Tucker's like, go talk to her. And so he does, but because he's socially awkward and nervous, he sounds kind of crazy.
Yes,
And
he is.
it freaks them out. So they leave thinking that they're weird hillbilly people. And Tucker and Dale are just like, whatever, and they're going up to the cabin. And they go into this cabin, and there's bones hanging everywhere. And there's
It's
newspaper.
rickety and old.
And there's newspaper clippings of the, what was it called? The Memorial Day Massacre.
Memorial Day Massacre.
That happened
yeah.
20 years ago, where hillbillies killed a bunch of college students. And all the newspaper clippings were on the wall in this place. And so clearly this was the hillbilly serial killer's old cabin that Tucker had bought. Bones and everything still there. And then they're out fishing that night, out in the lake, fishing that night, and all the college students decide to go skinny dipping. And Allie comes down a little bit later, and she comes down separately from the other ones, and Dale's looking at her, and he's like, oh, man, I really like her, and this kind of stuff. And then she hears them and screams and falls into the water and hits her head. So they go over to save her, and they pull her in the boat, and he's trying to give her CPR. The college students that are skinny dipping see them pulling her body into the water, into the boat, who's unconscious. They think she's dead, and they think the CPR is him eating her face off. And so they think they're serial killers, and they just take her back to their cabin to try to take them back, but the kids run off. We got your friend. And so then that's when everything starts, because the college students think that they're serial killers. And so instead of going to the cops, they go to try to save Allie and kill these bad guys.
Chad convinces them of it.
Chad's the leader of all of them, and he's just a big douchebag. And tries to kill them.
Bigger than Schmidt, if you know what I mean.
The problem is they're really bad at what they're doing. And so
Yeah, they are.
the college students keep dying because
Left
they're
and
killing
right.
thafter through accidents. So like one
the
guy
biggest self-death was after Tucker used cut into a log with a chainsaw.
that was the first
that
one,
had
yeah.
a beehive in it.
And so he comes running out.
He's running, screaming from the beast with a chainsaw. Everyone
But
else
he's
is
screaming and running with a chainsaw like Leatherface, right? And so that kid is running screaming from him. And then what I loved when they're running.
They look at each other.
Well, Tucker's running behind this kid, right? But he's running faster than this kid. Eventually, he gets up even with the kid, and they look at each other, and the kid's looking at him funny, like, "Why are you right next to me?" And like, I'm confused now because Tucker's passing him. He's not trying to chase this kid. He's trying to get away from the bees, but the kid's still running and then runs into a tree sticking up and impales himself and kills himself by accident.
Go on. And what's even more messed up is that then a bee lands on his nose as he takes his dying breath, and he's like, "Oh shit." You know,
so
he doesn't.
So that's the
say it,
first
but
one.
You see that in his eyes,
right? So that's the first one. So
that's the first big death.
Allie is fine, and she's recovering from hitting her head. She's fine in the cabin, but they
Dale's
think that
caring for her.
They think Tucker and Dale, and Dale is like all up about her. He's fixing her breakfast and all this. So she's fine, but her friends don't know that.
You hate pancakes. Hey, I should have asked if you like pancakes.
Yeah. So she's like, pancakes? What? So that happens. Then this guy impales himself. The college students come up and find him, and they think that Tucker and Dale did it.
Yeah.
So then they decide they're going to attack them again, and then they just start dying one by one through their own stupidity.
One dude dives headfirst into a wood chipper.
Well, I mean, there's Tucker with limbs and stuff going into a wood chipper because he's trying to clean up
limbs from trees and everything.
Yeah, because he's trying to clean up the area because he just bought this cabin and he's all emotional because this is his vacation home that he saved up for, and he's trying to clear up. So he's putting stuff in this wood chipper, and this guy comes running at him with a pocket knife, full on, running straight at Tucker at a running wood chipper, and dives at him. And Tucker goes, "Whoa!" and backs up, and the guy goes head first right in. My favorite line, one of my favorite lines in the movie was when they unpry the half a body out of the wood chipper, and they're dragging it, and Tucker's like, "He's pretty heavy for half a guy." So anyway, another guy,
then another dude comes at Dale with a spear. Dale and Allie have been digging an outhouse hole
because she used to live on a farm, and so she's liking them. She's liking them. She's understanding who they are and understand that they're nice people, and she's just out there trying to help until the friends come back. And then this guy comes running at him with a stake, and she screams. Dale turns and hits her in the head with a shovel and knocks her out again. And so they think she's digging her own grave. Her friends think that they're making her dig her own grave, right? So she falls in. He falls into the pit, and then the guy trips with a stake and impales himself again.
And slowly slides down it, choking and bleeding to death all over Dale.
And Dale's freaking out because Dale's like,
he's crying.
He's this big teddy bear guy. He looks kind of scary, but he's smart. He's soft-hearted.
He's a softie.
Yeah. What'd you think about his hat? Did you see his hat? What it said?
Giver.
And he decided, he's the one that, I looked at some trivia. The actor Tyler, he's the one that decided to use that because they filmed this in Canada, and Giver is kind of the Canadian version of get her done. It kind of means the same thing, and so he got that hat. So anyway,
that's cool.
So then that happened. So they just. And we're not going to go through every single thing.
They keep on dying and getting maimed and hurt.
Right.
One dude literally gets burned alive.
So as this is going on,
it's a weed whacker to the face.
As this is happening, was it Chad? What was his? That was Chad. Chad was his name, right? Chad, who was like the leader, the big douche guy of the college guys, he's getting crazier and crazier and more violent and more violent. Oh, by the way. Sorry, technically our time is up. So it's kind of like they're running.
Hillbillies are pure evil.
It's kind of like the running joke on horseshoes and hand grenades of a half hour of power, right? Yeah, right. So anyway, so he's getting crazier and crazier. And eventually they realize Allie's fine. But they want to kill Tucker and Dale. Dale and Tucker have done nothing. They're scared to death because they think these college kids have gone crazy and then they got this suicide pact and trying to kill themselves all around them. So they're scared to death. They're scared to death, but, so Allie has Chad and Dale sit down in the house with tea, over a cup of tea, which I thought was hilarious. and the fact that he's like, is it chamomile? No, it's not chamomile. Good, because that screws with my asthma. And she says, no, it's Earl Grey. And Dale's like, ooh, I love Earl Grey. I'm like, he's a hillbilly. How does he know about from Earl Grey tea? Anyway, so they sit down and they start talking to share their interpretations of everything that's been going on. Because she's like, hey, this has all been a huge misunderstanding. Oh, sheriff's deputies died at this point. And then Chad starts telling this story of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Of 20 years ago,
parents were part of the Memorial Day massacre.
His parents were part of those people that were killed in that Memorial Day massacre. His mom was the only one that wasn't killed, and she was captured and tortured by the hillbillies for days, but escaped. Ended up in a mental institution, and her boyfriend.
While she was pregnant with him,
right? Or at least that's what he said. And Dad's body was never found, and so that's the story he's lived with his whole life. Was that hillbillies killed his dad, and made his mom go crazy, and so he doesn't like hillbillies anyway. And then everybody else comes crashing in, right? And more people die from their own stupidity. Tucker and Dale have not killed anybody yet. Like 8 people are dead at this point. Tucker and Dale hadn't killed anybody yet. They've all killed themselves through stupidity. and then it goes on from there, and Chad is gone completely crazy, and it's basically Chad versus Tucker and Dale and Allie, and they get in a car accident getting away from him. He gets Allie, runs off to some wood mill place. There's a final big battle between Dale and Allie. There's a big twist. He got photobombed. I
don't know why though. She said something.
Okay, there was a big twist that I won't go into. I mean, I think everybody in here has seen it.
Yeah.
Everybody in here has seen it. However, people that might listen to the podcast have maybe not seen this yet before. So there's a twist at the end that explains why Chad kind of goes crazy. And Dale and Allie end up together. And Tucker is fine, even though he got injured at the end. And end of story. But
you're drinking a PBR in a hospital bed.
Yeah. So what'd you think about his fingers? Because at one point Chad chopped his 2 bowling fingers off, right? Yeah. And then they found him and sewed him back on, right? But did you notice? One of them was a woman's finger?
Yeah.
A long red fingernail. Yeah.
Oh, she was looking at the sky.
Okay.
Apparently, it's so pretty.
No, but you can see the sun peeking into the clouds, and it's obviously been a storm. So it's like this really nice conglomerate of orange and yellow and gray. It's like painting. It's like painting. This is what my humanities teacher has done to me.
So, anyway, So yeah, so Tucker ends up getting his fingers back. One of them's a woman's finger though. One of the college women, I guess, because got long red fingernails. And yeah, I know. I hear she's kind of going off on her painting and her humanities teacher. So
I'm trying to not laugh at her. But
Dale and Allie end up together bowling and all this kind of stuff, and it was a happy story. So what did you think about the movie itself? I mean, we kind of give it a long
run. The movie itself was fun. Definitely a rewatchable movie.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I could watch again and again and again because it's just...
Freaking Alan Tudyk, though.
I'll watch Alan Tudyk in absolutely anything, okay? He's done tons of voiceover stuff. Did you know that he was the voice of Iago?
Iago?
In Aladdin? I was looking on IMDb to remind me of all the things that he's done.
Now, hold on.
Now, maybe the TV
I
show.
could've swore
Because it was it was Gottlieb that did it in the movie.
yeah, Gottlieb.
Yeah, yeah.
That did it in the
But
movie.
he must have done it
You
like
got
on
a problem,
yeah, he must.
Pinky?
So he may have done it in the TV show. I don't, or the video. Or, anyway, but
Could have
look,
been the movie.
Look,
You know,
yeah,
the recent movie.
could have been the recent movie. I mean, he was in Firefly. He's K2SO
Dude, he
and
was
Rogues.
Firefly.
No, he was. He was one of the.
Wasn't he the star of it?
No, he wasn't. No, that was somebody will tell me who it was. I'm Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. So he was K2SO in Rogue Story. He was Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
Rogue One.
One of my favorite characters. You know, I'm Steve the Pirate.
Steve the Pirate.
So I love Alan Tudyk, and he's done tons of voiceover stuff. When I was going through his IMDb credits, he's done tons of voiceover stuff, video games and movies and animated stuff. He's done voices for Ice Age movies and other things. So I just like him in everything he does. So I could watch him all day. I don't know this Tyler guy. I was looking at his IMDb stuff. I don't recognize anything. He's done lots of voiceover stuff too, and done some bit parts here and there. He played a stoner in 3 episodes of X-Files at one point, back when he was younger, I guess. But I don't recognize him. I didn't recognize any of the other people. The African American
Dale
guy
got cleaned up of him in those last few scenes. For some reason, he was giving me Jack Black vibes. Is that weird?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but it's the beard and the rounder face. I get that.
Yeah.
But the African American college student guy, I recognize him from something. I didn't look him up on IMDb, but I've seen him in something recently. I can't remember what it was. Let me see if I can find what he's been in. Is that him? It was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. He's been in what stuff I've seen him in recently. I'm trying to find it. But anyway, was there anything about the movie you didn't like?
The animation of the death scenes seemed kind of cartoony and exaggerated.
Well, I mean, it was. I'm sure it was a fairly low budget movie. I'm sure it wasn't a high dollar movie.
I mean, the guy
And it was done 11. It was done 11 years ago. Did you tell me to shut up?
Holy crap! That actually worked. It actually. Okay.
No, it didn't. Just let the dogs bark. They're just gonna bark. You live in an apartment complex. It's gonna happen. So.
Speaking of dogs, how's Coco?
Coco's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
And is she gonna get a brother or sister soon?
No, because Zeus got adopted by somebody else. So I'm gonna wait until I find another one because Zeus just struck me. I fell in love with Zeus, on his pet finder page, but he had already been snabbed for adoption. So I'm gonna wait until another one hits me before I grab one. So. I mean, look, the movie was done 11 years ago. So, I mean, and I'm sure it was fairly low budget. So, the graphics aren't going to be that great. But I mean, most of it was okay. Most of it was, physical effects, makeup and all that stuff. When the sheriff had the nail bored through his head. I mean, when one nail is kind of coming out through his cheek. I'm like, how did they have that nail stuck to the side of his cheek, just sticking out and not just kind of flop around loose, So I thought they did a pretty good job with that. I guess one of the things that I liked, on a more serious note, was that especially in today's culture, a lot of people in the country assume that if you're from the South, and live a simple life, or live in the mountains, or anything like that, that there's something wrong with you, or that you have evil intent, or you're not smart. And I think that's playing up more. I think that's getting played up to kind of for division purposes through the media. Are there idiots out there? Yes. But you know what? There's idiots in the South, and there's idiots in New York City too. There's idiots in Portland. There's idiots in San Francisco. There's idiots everywhere. But it was nice to see that they kind of painted it such that, you know what? The hillbillies were the nice people. They were actually the nice ones. They were simple. Now, I don't mean simple-minded. They were just simple people, but they were the nice people. They were the caring people. They were the victims in all this. You know?
I've met hillbillies. And a bunch of them are kind people.
Dude, I live in small town South.
Exactly.
I grew up in small town South.
Exactly.
So it was nice to see that they kind of portrayed it that way, because most movies portray hillbillies as kind of crazy inbreeders, you know, inbred people, and that aren't smart, that are mentally deficient, that, you know, all these kind of things. And so I enjoyed that part of the movie. Hey, you know what? We're not all bad. I was born and raised.
That was good. I did like that.
I was born and raised in small town South. I mean, small town South. I live back in small town
Valley, Alabama.
I am back 13 miles from my hometown, living in small town South. But I think I can go redneck on you if I want to, but I don't have to. And even if I do go redneck on you, that doesn't make me a stupid, racist, whatever, violent person. So I think I'll chase a chicken here, but it's kind of a serious one. I just think that we need to, I wish as a country we could just get to know people before we make judgments about people. The other side too, we make judgments about people up north. We make judgments about people up north too. So we do the same thing. Yeah. I just wish we get to know people. So that was a serious part of the movie that a serious take that I took from the movie, that, you know what? Get to know people before you make judgments about them, you know? So anyway, I loved it. I'm glad I saw it. It's one of those other movies that I can check off my list that I've seen. Guess what? I'm so happy I noticed that Fight Club is on Amazon Prime. That's another one that's been on my list for a while. It's Brad Pitt and oh god, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He played Bruce Banner in one of the early Hulk movies. No.
Was it a Franco?
No. What was? Oh, good grief! Hold on, I'll pull him up because I'm terrible with names. I draw a blank.
Was it the same guy that played the bad guy in Italian Job?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Yes, that guy.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name though. Can't remember.
Well, I got to find him.
Jeez, this hurts.
Edward Norton.
Norton, okay.
Yeah, Edward Norton. Anyway, so I'm so happy because I've been wanting to see that one for a long time, and it went off streaming services forever, but it's back on Amazon Prime this month. So that's one of the things I want to watch this week, probably in the next week or so. So anyway, that's our geek question. That's our movie discussion. I don't even call them movie reviews anymore. I don't know if you can call what we do a review.
It's just discussion.
It's just maybe we should call, instead of movie reviews, we should call them movie ramblings. That's probably more appropriate. Check out the movie rambling of. So, I guess we need to roll for our next movie and then get out of here because it is 9:20. It is getting close to drunk watch time, and so
my calves are killing me.
Really?
Yeah.
My shoulder is still killing me from the story that I told a few weeks.
Tight lately.
The story that I told a few weeks ago about crashing through the bunny cage fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, my shoulder is still jacked up. I may have torn a ligament or something. It's still jacked up, so I'm probably going to have to go to the doctor and get it checked out. So anyway,
please do.
So let's roll for our movie and let's see what's coming up next. All right. So
all right, go ahead and roll.
I rolled a 14, so that would be Netflix.
I'll be here massaging my muscles.
Okay, I hope that's not a euphemism for something else. But anyway,
I'm literally massaging my calves, Dad. Okay. Come on.
So 14 is going to be on Netflix. Now let's roll a 10-sided dice and see what's going on there. And I rolled a 4, which is a classic. It's a
Okay.
classic movie, so that could be anything in the classics category. It could be a kind of a nerd, geek-oriented movie that's considered a classic. It could be a cult classic. It could be an old drama classic, like old Cool Hand Luke was a few weeks ago when we watched that
Yeah.
one. So, all right, let's see what we got here. And I rolled a 40. So I'm going to go and look at the 40th movie in the classic section of Netflix and see what we're going to watch next time, all right? So y'all hang tight. I'll be right back. All right. So I've seen this before, but it has been a super long time since I've seen this movie. So I don't remember much about it, just who's in it and what it's about. I mean, the action that's in it. But we're going to see the 1973 martial arts classic, Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
That's like one of the first ones.
Yep. So a secret agent comes to an opium lord's island fortress with other fighters and a martial arts tournament. Come on. Bruce Lee fighting in a martial arts tournament for a movie. Come on. I mean, no wonder it's a classic, right? So
no
that's
movie
going to be fun to
I wanna
watch.
see again.
What do you want to see again?
Jackie Chan in that movie about the drunken fist.
The Drunken Master.
Yeah. I've always wanted to see that movie again.
It's
but I haven't
probably
been
on
able
one
to
of the
find
streaming
it.
services. It's an old movie, so the old movies usually stay on there pretty long time. So it might be on one of the streaming services. I mean, you could even look.
That was a good one.
You could even look at some of the other services that have commercials in them, like Crackle or IMDb TV, or some of those might have them on one of those. So, anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch Enter the Dragon. We're gonna have another geek question. Who knows what it's gonna be? We're gonna chase a whole lot more chickens.
Related.
Yeah, we're gonna chase a whole lot more chickens. Hopefully, we're not gonna be chasing down any raccoons. Hopefully, the raccoon section of my life is done for a while, and then we'll go from there. So,
Even more, hopefully, some kind of raccoon chicken hybrid.
oh, that's like the
Chaccoon.
Chaccoon, a
Chaccoon.
rickin, a rickikin,
No.
a rickikin,
Chaccoon.
a chaccoon. I like chaccoon.
Sound,
I like chaccoon.
Sounds kind of like jacuz.
It's kind of like spittoon.
Chaccoon.
So, give me about 30 minutes, and I'm going to be back probably streaming on this channel a little bit later, just hanging out with my buddies, streaming. No faces, just a bunch of old guys drinking, playing Xbox, and probably doing it really poorly. Yes, and you're going to be...
And I'm going to be in an Epsom salt bath.
Oh, there you go. That's nice. I took an Epsom salt bath last night in the hot tub.
You don't have a hot tub.
Yeah, we do. We got the Whirlpool tub in our master bathroom.
Whirlpool tub is not a hot tub.
Okay, whatever. It's an inside hot. It's an inside hot tub. It's hot water.
It's not.
It's a hot water. It's hot water, and it's a tub, and it blows bubbles, and it's not farts that do the bubbles.
You don't bathe in a hot tub though.
Well, I wasn't bathing in that hot tub last night, and in the Whirlpool tub either.
Whatever. Anyway,
We're just gonna leave it at that and go on. So
no one wants to imagine that.
no, that's true. So, guys, thanks for watching. Jacob and Smashy, thanks for stopping in. I know it's hard to do that with William, so I really appreciate it. So stoked to see you in a few months, Smashy. With Steven. Jacob, I wish you could be there, but good on you for doing the dad thing and being home with Will. That's fantastic. I'd have done the same thing, so that's just cool. Good on you for being happy Father's Day, by the way, Jacob. I don't know
Happy early Father's Day to you too, Dad.
Appreciate it, buddy. I don't know if you're still on, Jacob, or if you're listening to this later, but happy Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Just remember to, you're going to mess up as a dad every now and then, but as long as you try to get back on the horse and try to correct it and apologize for your mistakes, because you're going to make them, and just keep trying to do the right thing, that's about the best we can ask for. So just try to be kind to everybody, and y'all have a good night. Come watch us play some Destiny in about 30 minutes. And we will see you guys next time on the Gene Pool Variety Hour. And always remember,
Stay nerdy, my friends.
oh, and I forgot. If you'd like, I need to just keep doing this. And I forgot. If you would like to leave us a review, that would be awesome. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere where you can leave a review. Leave us a 5-star review to help people notice us and get more people around to hang out with us. So thanks a lot, and would really appreciate that. So we'll see you. Y'all have a good night. See you later.
Peace.
You're still here?
Oh my god, my cats were killing me.
It's over. Go home.